I would like to welcome you to a very terrifying new pumpkin approved. That is very horror film. Yeah, we will be honoring horror and the kind of horror that you find on 10th Street. Just kidding. But speaking of 10th Street, hi, Indianapolis. This is where I do most of my hauntings. Now, this year we have a wonderful convention, and we've decided, they've decided to honor Vampira. She is one of the first horrific hosts ever, and I commend them for honoring her. I personally love Elvira, but that's because of her boobies. Now, there's people who want to discount Elvira for being number two. And I think that's okay to be number two. She kept it in theme because she was very skimpy and showed the boobies, and that is very relative in horror movies. Which brings me to some things of my contention. Well, things that I would approve better. Let's keep it positive. I think we should honor boobies and horror movies, cause nothing's better than death and tits. And all the great horror movies have death and tits. And the greater than that are the ones that have bloody tits. Let's just get right down to it. Whoa! Blood tits. Maybe we should just honor blood tits. That would make sense in horror movies. And encourage people to come with bloody titties and judge them. In addition to honoring bloody boobies, I think we should remember the most applicable horror host of all, especially in these times. That would be the Count from Sesame Street. I know what you're thinking. He was not a horror host per se, but if you take him in the right context, he could have been one of the most scariest horror hosts of all time, especially if he's counting the number of unpaid bills there are going in the country. 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 6 trillion on disconnect. Or for instance, the national debt. 1 trillion, 3 trillion, 53 trillion, thanks to overspending. Anyway, so the Count and bloody boobies is what I'm pushing for this convention, even though Elvira is awesome, and so is Vampira. Now, some of you might find it hard to believe, but it is still in debate whether yours truly, the Pumpkin Man from Indianapolis, who haunts the streets and different shows and metal shows, and has made myself sort of a mascot for brutality, will be part of the list of horrific hosts. It is in debate whether my horror-filled cartoon and little show here, or current TV pushing a shocking, a rocking, and some horrific, is counted enough to be a horror host. I do suppose that if I am treated as a misfit or an outcast, I might still be fitting into my demographic, you know. I represent those who are pitched away by society, by those who are struggling against the way things are. So, me being a misfitted outcast is appropriate, I suppose. I don't have riches in my pocket per se. I am a punk rock kind of thing against society and a lot of things it stands for. So if I'm outcasted, oh well. I will be repping boobies and the count. To step up as a more horrific host and make it more apparent to people, I am going to push 2 or 3 of my favorite horrific films. Now, I believe that death and violence is funny, so I like to have a good amount of humor in my horror movies. So I'm going to suggest 3. First, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It is awesome. It is hilarious. People die in humorous ways. There is cotton candy guns and popcorn guns and clown pizza delivery drivers. It is very humorous and as well as murderous. I also will suggest any of the Leprechaun series, particularly Leprechaun in the Hood. That's applicable for me. Spent time in the hood, and that's very humorous. To add to that would be Jason X, and that goes back to a little bit of what I got coming from inside, you know. A little bit of the pumpkin spirit is in there, especially if you watch the first one. Me and him are on a similar wavelength. We're hackers, we're slashers. We tear it apart with our bare hands. I like to do it in a humorous way. And Jason X really gets it right to home for me. And here are some examples of how it fits together and how me and my friend Jason are so very on the same wavelength. And for those that didn't know, let me first to say, fucking duh. Alright, I'm bringing up some examples here of our similarities. Firstly, we are both into bondage. You see here in Jason X, he got chained and bolted, and I believe it was of his own free will. He proves it fairly immediately by breaking out after he's had his torturing, whipping, chaining, and then doing the same to this guy by killing him, which, bonus. He also likes screwing his victims, and we see a good example here. And I am of a likewise mind. I do like to screw my victims. You know, it might be over the phone, or it might be after they're already dead. Well, it's still warm. You know, which is a good thing. And also, I would bring this up, and I thought was awesome in the movie, is that there's these magical ants that, you know, fix dead body, flesh, and turmoiled shit. And anyway, so, the thing I'm saying is, what if that can heal hoo-hoos? I mean, that would kick ass. You know, it would definitely save most activities, and you could do what you wanted and just go crazy and then bring on the magical ants, you know, and go do it again. So, ladies, buy some of those. That will make your activities great. And I might join in and help you get to that point. Okay, that's enough for me and my visions of what me, you, and the ants could do. Anyway, on to Magpie, and it was lovely proving that I have nothing to do with horror whatsoever from beginning till now to ever. Duh. Yeah, I just love bloody boobies.